All right, there we go. We are officially recording. Welcome, everybody, to the final Health Services Leadership Academy, session number 8. We have made it. We are going to give it another minute. We have 15 people joined. I think a few more are joining. First of all, apologies for our issues with the calendar invite. We have found out that FDA and CDC, their systems don't necessarily talk to each other. And so when I tried to forward the meeting invitation from Captain Williams's invitation from FDA out, I don't know if CDC blocked it, but many people didn't get it. So I resent it as a duplicate. So hopefully everyone received the meeting invitation. And I believe those people are probably coming on in. So apologies for that. We're finding out that FDA and CDC computers don't necessarily talk. BOP can't use MS Forms at work. And there are a number of other things that we are going to have a cheat sheet on for cohort 2. So we will be joining. We'll be starting in about, I'll give it another minute. Is that okay, Captain Williams?
Absolutely.
All righty. And you know that minute is going to seem like 5 minutes as I'm looking at the clock. So, so as it turns to 1:03, I'll get started. And Captain Williams, because I know you so well and I've known you since I got in the Corps, I forgot to even ask you for a bio. So you're going to have to give a description of your own self, a bio of who you are, when you came into the Corps, and all that good information. And then I'm going to send out a bio afterwards. I just realized that just this moment. So sorry to put you on the spot with that, ma'am. You're on mute.
Okay, that's okay. No worries. I had to think about who I am.
We'll send out the official afterwards. I'll still have other information I need to send out also. All right, so we will get started. Welcome, everyone, to session 8 of the first cohort of the Health Services Leadership Academy. This is very exciting for me because if you know where we started and how we got to where we are today, you would know that this is a huge feat, and we could not have done it without all of you in this first cohort. So I am officially going to turn this meeting over to Captain Sheila Peck Williams. And she is also going to provide a bio of herself because I forgot to collect one. And then we're going to send out an official one later with additional information. But over to you, ma'am. We can get started.
Okay, thank you so very much, Captain Maynard Harper. And good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to see where HSLA has taken us to, and the benefits that you have received therein. So thank you for the opportunity just to go over everything that you've learned and to end with a few concluding remarks. Again, Captain Maynard Harper mentioned that my name is Sheila Peck Williams. I currently work at the Food and Drug Administration in the Office of Emergency Management as a senior exercise planner. So I build exercises for the agency. Prior to coming to FDA, I was with the Coordinated Outbreak Response and Evaluation Network under the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition, where I was a part of the post-response team and worked to prevent foodborne disease outbreaks from reoccurring. I was commissioned in January 2002 in the Public Health Service, and as I tell everyone, it's the best decision I ever made. One of the reasons I came into the Corps was to deploy, and I have had the distinct pleasure of deploying about 12 times, international, domestic, in the Secretary's Operations Center, and it has been the highlight of my career. So I will stop there. And if it's okay with you, Captain Maynard Harper, I'll go right into the presentation. Okay, excuse me, I'm just trying to see my screen here. Okay. So again, welcome to the final session for the Health Services Leadership Academy. I will deliver the last presentation for you. You will forever be known as Cohort 1 of the first ever Public Health Service Leadership Academy. Today, we will do an overview of each of the 8 sessions and discuss how to implement the components of the Leadership Academy in your leadership journey. After the review, we will provide you with a survey of the Academy. I think Captain Maynard Harper has already shared the survey. So those of you that can gain access to it, she'd like you to fill it out, and others, she will send it via email. Now let's get started. Okay, let's stay right here. So the creation of this program has been in the works for over 6 years, beginning with Captain Willis Marsh's introduction of the core competencies. Captain Presley continued to build this initiative out by introducing the HSPAC roadmap and launching the first cohort. Now, under Captain Bunnell's leadership, you have benefited from the fruits of the consistent work, commitment, and labor of all of the SOC members, past and present. You may know that the Health Services Leadership Academy was designed to specifically include health services core competencies that officers should strive to develop as they progress through their careers. It is segmented into 3 leadership levels: early career, mid-career, and executive level. However, prior to developing this curriculum, research was done, such as there was a complete review of existing core-wide leadership activities. Also, there was a review of other uniformed services leadership courses for adaptation to the core. And then finally, there was a collaboration with Commissioned Officers Training Academy in the at the head office. Based on these assessments and with the inclusion of the health services core competencies, it was determined that officers should strive to develop as they progress through their careers, and for that reason, the HSLA curriculum was designed. Next slide, please. So cohort 1, all of you have been through 7 sessions, and so today is the 8th session, and I just want to do a brief overview of all of the sessions that have been presented to you. So, session 1. Session 1 was about building rapport through team dynamics, and it was presented by Captain Crystal Russell. This is when you all came together for the first time as a cohort. This session was designed to help you understand the importance of team dynamics and what your role is as a leader in building team dynamics. She started, as a leader, you have responsibility, she stated, as a leader, you have responsibility to understand your team, the dynamics of your team, and how to reach your goals. During the Health Services Leadership Academy, this was also your opportunity to get to know other officers in the public health service, to create your network of colleagues for future collaboration, and make suggestions for building the public health service into the service of the future. Next slide, please. The next presentation, in summary, Captain David Hunter shared 5 key areas, linking the leadership focus areas to the musical analogy. Managing change can be one of the most challenging skills. If we compare it to creating something beautiful, like developing a musical piece, we have to first plan an approach for managing change. You must first understand your environment, or the musical score. You need to build capacity, individual capacity, and a teamwork approach. What approach is needed for what circumstance? Building a constructive environment, an environment where people know their roles and can operate to strive for the goal. Leaders must learn how to balance technical and people skills. Through the Health Services Leadership Academy, the future sessions will focus on skills that will allow you to balance technique with feeling. And lastly, understanding how to develop your program to build leaders and bolster career growth and advancement. So I have a question for you. Which of the metaphors resonated the most with you and why? So based on this musical analogy, which one of them resonated the most with you and why? You can share it in your chat, please. Okay. This is the time for class participation. I don't see anything in the chat. Am I missing it?
Ma'am, it says that some people in this chat are outside your organization, so may not be able to see everything in the chat.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
But quite a few officers have put capacity and teamwork, technical and people skills, and building a constructive environment.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
that. Okay. So let's move to the next slide. I was just thinking technology can be amazing or not so much. So moving forward, the next slide, please. So next, for session 3, you heard from Captain Maria Binky. And she talked about written communication is a professional and leadership competency. I've been knowing Captain Binky for probably since she started her career in the PHS, and I know this is an area that she is an expert in. She's able to deliver this message very well, and she's able to incorporate it into her everyday work very well. So Captain Binky talked about the fact that the training helped officers tell their unique story within the context of preparing documents for the promotion board. How many times have you heard that you need to be clear and present yourself on paper? Because that's the only time the promotion board gets an opportunity to know who you are. You have to present yourself well. So that means choosing the right words, right? Speaking in very clear sentences, and being able to share your life's journey in the public health service. So writing for impact is iterative and involves several phases. Participants learned about the preparation phase, the writing phase, and the polishing phase. Each phase has critical key considerations and steps. Many people skip key steps and find their writing is ineffective. Participants learn how to write from their audience's perspective. Oftentimes we write based on what we want to say versus what the receiver's preference is. Participants learned how to develop their content and refine messages, write using strong verbs in plain language and in an active voice, how to refine their drafts to clearly communicate relevance and impact. They practice how to implement these tips through a practical example. In the they is you use the method typically used for root cause analysis to identify relevance. In the end, participants learned how to develop polished and professional documents. This is important because polished documents conveys technical expertise, demonstrates competence, showcases critical thinking, illustrates excellence, reflects positively on an author and organization, elicits confidence and or prompts action from the reader. These documents leave an impact. Next, please. For session 4, we heard from Captain Robin Hunter Buskey and Commander Van Horn. We talked about conflict management. So understanding conflict management helps leaders understand what conflict is, what is the significance, and how to address the conflict, particularly in a workplace. There are a number of conflict management skills and the tools that can be utilized in your path to leadership. The first skill is understanding how important communication is. Communication in both directions help with managing conflict. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways, is useful when managing conflict. Understanding root causes and how to navigate through challenges is important. And finally, self-control. Making sure you have an awareness of your personal self is also important. Managing your emotions, managing your communication, leading your team members to success is done through conflict management. Next, please. Session 5, we heard from Commander Michael Muni. He talked about communicating for impact. In leadership, you must understand the big picture. First, identifying what you are trying to communicate, have a full understanding of what you are trying to communicate, and how to use the skill of communication in your leadership role. You must understand the audience you are communicating to. There are many different pathways of communication and understanding the audience can help you understand the challenges that may be present. Knowing the bluff technique of bottom line up front, approach of saying what you want or need up front, and then give context. Approaches that help include, number 1, start with a clear and concise statement of your main point. Number 2, use simple and straightforward language. Number 3, avoid using jargon and unnecessary information. Number 4, build bullet points or headings to enable the reader to scan and digest the information. Number 5, edit, edit, edit. Always proofread and edit your work. And finally, communicate strategically and identify a story that will help you capture the big picture. Know your pitch. This can be to help with the area you lead or your own personal approach for yourself. And remember to practice. Communicating for impact takes practice. So I know sometimes you've heard of people that go, when you're preparing to give a presentation and you go and stand before a mirror and you practice because you want to see exactly how others may see you. I agree, communication takes practice, practice, practice. So next, please. Session number 6, we heard from Commander Joel Richardson and Lieutenant Commander Brandon Fain. They talked about the health services professional core competencies. So this session was created around the core competencies that began under Captain Willis Marsh leadership. As officers, the core competencies can be a roadmap to success. As a leader, understanding policy development, human resources, resource and financial management, grants and contracting, organizational management, and leadership, and how they all fit into the success of government programs is essential to its success. Many leaders think they only have to know and understand their specific position or skill. Excuse me. But understanding how the pieces of government fit together leads to success. This can also help officers develop a career roadmap based on 6 professional core competencies and 5 fundamental core competencies. Next slide. So the final session was session 7 that was led by Captain Juanica Maynard Harper. And she spoke about effectively using mentoring to score, S.C.O.R.E, your goals. Many people get mentoring, coaching, and counseling mixed up. Mentoring helps you to reach your goal through a tailored approach where the mentor guides the mentee. Coaching helps you frame your thoughts so that you can make decisions on how you want to move forward. And finally, counseling helps people gain personal insight, develop strategies, and come up with real-life solutions to the problems and challenges they face in everyday life. You should determine what you need, when you need it, and get the assistance to help you succeed. To move your career forward, you need to make sure you have a strategy. Know the foundation of communication. Seek out opportunities, build relationships, and consistently evaluate where you are. You should identify what your personal reasons are. This will provide you with the drive to reach your goals. Also, know that your unique path is just that, it's unique. Do not compare yourself to others. There's only one you. Know that we have not figured out all the public health challenges, so know that your perspective and journey is needed. And don't be afraid to go after the BAG, the bag, big, audacious goal. You're an officer with a unique skill set that can help us move public health into the future. In closing, as commissioned Corps officers, we're held to the highest standards of professional and personal integrity as trusted public servants, stewards, and leaders. We must earn the right to wear the uniform every day, through every action and in every interaction. In all services, officers are to be well-rounded. This is not different for the PHS. Officers should be leaders in their organization. This does not only mean supervisory, but you can also be a subject matter expert or a senior leader that's advising staff or the senior leadership. You can show leadership in PHS activities and leadership in your community and external organizations. Our time in uniform is so short. This won't last forever. So enjoy every day and enjoy the ride. And if there are no questions for me, that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone. Captain Maynard Harper, back to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Captain Williams, so much for that presentation. I did want to ask if there were any questions or overview. I wanted to have an open discussion. We went through 7 sessions over the past 6 months, 5 months, not including the opening session. So I guess we went through 6 and 5 months. So I wanted to have an open discussion on what worked, what didn't work, ideas. You're also going to put this in a survey that I'll send out by email. But I wanted to just have an open discussion. Now that we have been refreshed of our memory of the 7 sessions, I just wanted to get some ideas, throw it out there. Anybody have any comments, suggestions, overview? Yes, Commander Dimmers.
I just wanted to say that a lot of the information, it was great refresher for a lot of the courses. But one of the ones that I really felt like had a very new and fresh view on it was the Writing for Impact from Captain Benke. the perspective and the way she described your writing. I know a bunch of people probably went back on their CVs and went, okay, this and it completely made sense. But from somebody who's been in the course since 2009, I mean, it was really one of the first times I've heard it worded the way she did it, and that was, I just wanted to point it out. That was, they were all excellent, but that one really was one that caused a lot of change, immediate change, versus a lot of the other ones are going to be more long term. So thank you for that.
I agree. And she is an expert in that area. Well, she's considered an expert. She will say she's not an expert, but she really is. She has done a lot of study on writing for impact. And the one thing that I was grateful for was that we had the forethought of recording these sessions, because I feel like that's really one that we all need to go back and look at yearly. I even looked at it more recently because I was updating a resume. Someone asked for it, and I was like, you know what? Let me look at this video for a quick second just to sort of make sure I'm doing it in a way that's impactful. So thank you for that feedback. And if you haven't seen it, if you weren't at that session, or if you want to refresh your memory, it's all on the Health Services Leadership Academy YouTube page. And I'll send out those links after I update the last two videos. But I will send that link out back to everyone because you have access to that. Is it Commander Hawkins? Sorry, I don't know.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
ranks. Okay.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I thought all of the sessions were great, just like Commander Dimmers just said. Your session, I would say, stood out the most to me. I think that as officers, we're always kind of comparing ourselves to other people and we're trying to reach this goal. And I feel like sometimes the goalpost is always changing and we're trying to check off boxes. But I think when you have that, you kind of show the example of two officers that came at the same time and kind of where they ended up. I think it just hit home for me a little bit more that, look, I need to run my own race, figure out my why, and kind of stick to what works for me and what's best for me. So I thought that was so good. I appreciated that a lot. I think another aspect of these sessions were when you said to reach out to officers and meet folks. And I have. I think I've met with maybe 4 at this point, which I think is good. We're all busy, but I got to people that I would not have had an opportunity to meet if I had not been a part of this. And I'm hoping that some of these folks I think 1 or 2 were reconnections and a couple of the other 2 were new people I hope to stay in contact with. So I think that was such a great opportunity. And that's all I have to add. Over, ma'am.
Thank you. You all share this commonality of going through this session together as the first class. And so I see you all as reaching and comparing notes and being able to utilize each other as you are moving your own careers forward. Of course, you can't do exactly what other people do, but utilize each other's resources. You are resources to each other. Everybody's going to be either a commander or a captain today. Or unless you want me to call you Admiral. So Commander Ma?
Yeah, there was a session that you lead. I forgot which section already, but I remember one thing that you said that really struck me and stick in my mind, and I could not get rid of it. And you say that your path is the path, and it's hard for you to copy somebody else's path. So your path is unique. So that really stick in my mind. And I think that is, true. It's very hard to, copy somebody else's path. And we all have our own individual path to deal with.
Yes, definitely. And I won't say, and don't take this as I'm saying people lie. People tell the truth, but people don't have the time to tell you every single detail of every single thing they did to get to where they are. You're going to leave things out. There are things you're going to forget if you try to replicate and share what you did with others. So knowing that you are on your own path and your path is the correct path. We need people of varying disciplines and of different skill sets in order to make this thing happen. And this thing is the United States Public Health Service. We need all of us. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Again, thank you. Any other comments, feedback? And we do have a survey, and I'm going to send it by email as well as, so during the survey, I know, and I'm very comfortable with, and I do know my strengths and weaknesses. My strength is I can talk to you for days at a time. My weakness is I cannot just say one sentence. So that's why I'm not good at creating surveys. Because you need just one sentence. You don't need a paragraph. So we created a survey. We, meaning me, had a few people look at it, but everything may not be in that survey that needs to be in that survey. Again, I know my strengths and weaknesses. I am not an evaluation person. So there are opportunities for you to include in the survey anything that was left out of the survey. So there is plenty of free space for that reason. So I am encouraging everyone to please fill out the survey. There is an opportunity if you would like to include your name. You do not have to. Please be brutally honest. The only thing I want to come out of this survey is for us to improve the next cohort. Everyone that participated in cohort 1, the speakers, they were all volunteers. They were people that were recommended. So we only want the best going forward. We can have duplicate presentations, we can have additional presentations, but we need to know what worked and what didn't work. And that's only going to come from you all. This session, the first HSLA, was also built with a skeleton crew. And I say that because we had some transition during the S.C.O.R.E. And we had our legacy members who had been on the S.C.O.R.E. forever. They created the S.C.O.R.E. and they helped maintain the S.C.O.R.E. during some turbulent times, COVID-19 and all of these other things. They rolled off recently. And so we lost a lot of institutional knowledge and a lot of the worker bees who had a lot of the information about the HSLA. So now we are a team of about 3, trying to make sure that we are moving this along. And so as we're going forward, that's why we need your help to make sure that we can move this into a direction that has more hands on deck, I'll say. So it's only, I don't care what you put in the survey, because whatever you put in there, we're going to utilize it in order to make it better. So be honest. Captain Williams.
Yes, hi, thank you. Actually, that was a great segue into one of the last things I wanted to share with you all. Captain Maynard Harper mentioned legacy members, and I am one of the legacy members. But I must say that any group of officers that we've brought on to the S.C.O.R.E. have been committed, deserving, amazing, ready to work for all of you, ready to support all of you. And I also want to say that if you haven't worked with Captain Maynard Harper, she's going to get it done. And I really appreciate that from the depth of my heart. Just you continuing to send emails, just how your follow-through, your follow-up. You were consistent across the board. And I believe that we would not have been able to launch this cohort at this time if it were not for you leading that team. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're right.
Okay.
We have rotated off, so we won't be. You won't see much of us.
It was deserving.
But it has been a pleasure.
You put in a lot of work. And if you ever work with me, you will know that I don't really see the moon and the stars, because I believe there's something beyond there, kind of like Pi's background. There is something beyond there, and we can reach that too. So we're going to reach the goal. Thank you, Captain Williams. Captain Hunter Buskey. Hey, Captain Hunter Buskey. Good to see you.
Here, so you can see me. Hello, everyone. Yes, me and my toothbrush are packed again. Ask me where I am in the world. Haha. Anyway, I can't even add anything of any substance to what was just said, except ditto. And kudos to all of you for participating and working through this with us. I can only imagine what you might have thought on the front end. I'm signing up for what? And I would hope that you can capture that in your survey. What was in your mind at the very beginning, and then where you ended up? That question may not be there in that way, but I think it would be helpful to us because in some of our senior roles, we hear a lot, and I'm gonna just be real plain with you, whining. I can't, this won't work. They changed the rules, they moved the goalposts. Sounds like that book, right? Who Moved My Cheese? And, but what did you do to find the cheese? What did you do to try to pivot and course correct? And so you all have done that. You stepped up, you took a chance blindly to join into something, and perhaps even by yourself, not knowing who else was going to do it or get selected. So I wanted to applaud all of you for your commitment through this year. And my single question is, who's coming to Jacksonville? Because I certainly personally want to see you and just, now that it's post-COVID, right? Give you a hug and congratulate you for what you have accomplished. Thank you. Back to the chair.
Thank you, Captain Hunter Buskey. We also have a survey for that too, to capture who all is coming to the symposium. I know you stated earlier, I will send that out by email also. But we want to recognize everyone that had any part in this, in the HSLA. So participants as well as those who created the program. And so I will send that survey out broadly. I saw a hand. Hold on, I can't see. I got too many screens.
Captain Bunnell
Captain
has her
Bunnell.
hand up.
I should have called on you earlier. I apologize, ma'am.
No worries at all. I would just like to, one, say that this whole thing started under a previous CPO, in fact, 2 CPOs ago. So it's been a Herculean effort. And culminating when I barely got my foot in the door as the third CPO to be part of this effort. So, I think it's been a Herculean race. I'd like you to take the opportunity and just thank all the folks that went into putting all of this together for you. I don't think any of the decisions that were made were done lightly. There's been a huge commitment in figuring out all the details of how to make this happen. And I hope that it was helpful to you. And, there's a team that stands committed to listening to your feedback. We appreciate what you shared verbally today, but we want transparency as well. And sometimes that's hard to do in a verbal open setting. So please be transparent in your feedback. The surveys will be read, and what your feedback is that is given will be taken into account when we try to do something in the future in a related potential next cohort as we start to figure out what that looks like. And there's a team that's been working on that. You got a preview of what they're thinking. I think there's some good changes there and really some boots on the ground use of some of the things that came through this session. But just take a minute and let's thank the folks that helped do all of this. I mean, it was a lot of work, and none of them are getting paid to do this. They all do it on top of their jobs. So thank you so much to all of you from the bottom of my heart. I know how hard this kind of thing is, and I hope that students gain something from this, and if nothing else, built great relationships and looking forward to seeing many of you at COA in Jacksonville, as Captain Hunter Buskey said, with the hopes that we can celebrate your accomplishment of not only committing to this, but getting through all these sessions and hopefully coming out the other end with some new skills and opportunities for next steps.
Definitely.
And I'm happy to hand it back to you, Captain Maynard Harper. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank all of you because I know this was a lot of work, and I'm hopeful that folks gained a lot from it, and we look forward to continuing to tweak and revise.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for your support going forward.
Sure.
Anything else for the good of the whole, as they say? This is our official last time all together. Lieutenant Commander Finch Hall.
Good afternoon. I just had a question and comment. I just wanted to know how long the the videos on the YouTube channel would be available. A lot of those presentations were very information dense, and I wanted to still have time to go back and review through them and kind of marinate on a lot of that great information. So I do hope that the last session will post, but also how much longer we will have access to that information.
I'm smiling because if you know me, they'll probably be up forever because I don't know if I know how to take them down. So they'll be up there for at least a year, for sure. I will rely on cohort 2 to tell me, when to take them down or what to do with them. But I will leave them up on that channel, definitely through the end of this year. But thank you for that, and I will upload. I believe I am. I think I just need to upload the last one and this one, so I will upload those. Is it Commander Vaughn?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I know you mentioned in the past that you were looking for some volunteers for the next Leadership Academy. And I just want to know what are some of those positions or in what capacity, and also who will we reach out to if we would like to volunteer in the future?
So I'm looking at Commander Kalk. Do you know who is your leader?
I am my own leader. So, for now, I have spearheaded planning efforts with a fantastic team. And after the last call, the team has gotten even greater in terms of talent and numbers. So please email me. I'm margaret.kalk@fda.hhs.gov, and I'll send you the meeting invite series. Our next meeting is on May 30th. We've got a lot to discuss, so would welcome your input. But we do have the groundwork topics and some basic framework and ground rules to establish and established already. So just send me your interest.
Thank you, and thank you for volunteering, Commander Vaughn. And I will also add that Commander Kalk signed up for this program, and she also sits on the SOC. When I saw her application come through, I'm like, wow, she is committed. But we appreciate you for actually serving as a liaison this entire cohort without realizing what you were signing up for. So I appreciate you. Anything else for the good of the whole? For the last time ever, we are all together as the cohort 1 of HSLA. If not, look for emails from me. It has been a pleasure to, if nothing else, getting to know additional people in the Corps. I look forward to seeing you all that are attending the symposium in Jacksonville. I plan to be there. I don't know if my agency's paying for it yet because we still haven't received confirmation if we can all go or not. But I'll be there one way or the other, whether agency paid or self-paid. So I look forward to seeing you all there in June, end of June, and look forward to seeing you throughout your careers in the public health service. If you ever need anything, I'm speaking on behalf of the Senior Officer Consortium, please reach out and let us know. That's what we're here for. So with nothing else, look for an email from me and I will see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.